Wow, it did that thing again? It took a full minute before it finally connected and held. So weird. Let's win them all. Let's just win them all. Why not? 6-10, 6-10. Let's go.
I feel very fucking good about our spot right now. Come on, calling with Queen Jack. Come on, get there. I'm telling you, man, it's going to be a good series.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Softwise stream. This time, coming to you on a 5-minute delay. We are coming to the tail end of this bracelet series. It's been a good summer for us so far, monetarily speaking, but not so much in the bracelet events. We have one cash in bracelet events for a little over the minimum. I think we tripled up our our investment in the turbo that Matt Hunt got second in. However, we were in for 3 bullets, therefore we broke even. Que sera, sera. Nevertheless, I have enjoyed these streams a lot. They've been very profitable. So we have good news and we have bad news. The good news is that we still have 3 events left to play, and I will be streaming them all. The bad news is that that's it for a short period of time. I'll be taking about a week off, heading back to Pittsburgh. I'm going on a fishing trip with my nephew and my dad. And shortly thereafter, the bracelet events begin in Pennsylvania. And I'm really pumped for WSOP to be launching there. So I've agreed to stay in Pittsburgh for an extra 9-10 days or so and stream the WSOP bracelet events from PA. So we'll be back. It's not over yet. It's never over. I will say, though, I need a nap. With no diamond in our hand, I think we can just pretty comfortably check. We still dominate a lot of his range. We don't mind keeping king, queen, ace, queen in. Obviously, the 9's pretty brutal. Now we lose to king, queen. We still beat ace, queen, which probably doesn't bet river. Full pot kind of indicates king, queen. It's kind of the only thing that would play this way. Could have 9s. That makes sense too. It's pretty hard to find the bluffs. If he does this with ace queen, God bless him. It's kind of a silly bluff to run. We're just gonna fold. We're pretty protected in that line too. We should have our strongest Jack X as played. So like a hand like Jack 10 suited, King Jack, Queen Jack would strongly consider checking 3 times there on that board texture. Apologies for the restart. YouTube's not very clean about being able to add and subtract delays. So we had to fully reboot. Gave us a bit of a 5-minute delay. How much did Hunt win last night? It was 2 nights ago. He won 63,000, I think. First was like 100. It5ZR says, been looking forward to this all day. I lost my job and I need some fun, run deep. Really sorry to hear that, man. I'll do my best for you. I just realized you guys aren't getting any music. My apologies. Let's get you a little Leroy. In that D. You know what? Let's start this song over because it's that good. Should do some Leroy trivia one of these days. What is Berkey's favorite Leroy song? I'm out of pre-workout. That's a problem. That's a problem we're going to have to remedy on the next break. I'm ready to get after it. Really slow start to my day today. I've just been, Landon and I have been talking about this. Like, it's a lot to grind day in and day out. Maybe even more so for me than him, just because this isn't my sole source of livelihood any longer. So I have a lot of other responsibilities that I need to take care of as well. Whereas for like Landon, poker's it for the time being, right? Like he's still in that early stage where he just eats, sleeps, and breathes it. But yeah, like to that end, he doesn't exactly have a ton of life balance because of that, right? So he was basically telling me like how fried he feels and that like it's almost been nice that there's only been one event a day recently on WSOP because he just kind of gets to play it and get out. And the same's kind of been happening for me. A little bit less so while I'm playing. I don't feel that burnt while I'm playing. Like I feel pretty good, but man, the repetitive nature of eat, sleep, play, repeat is just not conducive to the way that I live. Like yesterday, I don't know how many of you are in the 75 Hard Discord, but I had to post that I failed. I missed my workouts. I basically woke up, did work for the company, came, played till 4 a.m., and then went to bed. And there's just no time for 2 workouts when that's the case. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely messed a little bit with what I would consider to be a balanced life, especially during the summer when it's like, this is the last thing on earth I want to be doing. I'd love to be doing a lot more traveling, but you know, you don't get to choose when your career is most busy. And even if I weren't playing a ton right now, I would be doing a lot of shit for Solve for Why. So it's kind of one of those things where some sacrifices need to be made. And it just becomes nice, like a nice way to circumvent it is doing what I'm doing next month, where I get to go home, spend almost 2 weeks with friends and family, while actually doing things that further the company and further my ability to play, things of that nature. I would do anything. Dust fall, people walking down a dirt road. Train tracks, cold water feedback. Tell me what you want. Killers in the depot, hear rumbling domino. Man, I don't know what happened. Something like in the last few hours, my lips became insanely parched. Or, not parched, chapped. Holy road. This is just to defend. Speak. Not coming home. We're not folding. Let's just continue through a call. Hand's probably a little bit too weak to raise. It is desirable, obviously, to shut out the big blind, but the board just kind of does that on its own. Yeah, we just have a call again. Not a very favorable run out for us. Wow. What on earth is that hand? He had, oh, the 6-5 of clubs. Yeah, you don't get to bluff the turn if you don't follow through on river. The whole purpose of betting a 6-high club draw there is that you can bluff hearts as well. That's a pretty poor shutdown by Pride Ego. Where's the club? We're gonna stack his ass. But yeah, you can't really check down 6-high in that spot. Even though he's thinking the same thing we are of like, fuck, that's a really bad run out for our particular hand. Cock up, cock is kissing a mag and knife. Man, I don't want to toot our own horn here too much, but I've been watching some more live streams as of late. And seriously, like, be honest with me. If I'm full of shit, just say so. Does anybody have a better layout than us? I mean, really, I'm tooting Andre's horn. He's the one who made it. But, like, goddamn, it looks good. It just looks good. It's so clean. You know where everything is, you know? Most importantly, my face is the smallest part of the layout. Like, I think that's what's most critical about running a good stream, is that the person talking is almost invisible. It's really necessary. I think we check back here. Feeling sore. Yeah, double check back. Nice river. Call anything. Bet for value if check to.
spinning. Oh, I can't figure out who's winning.
So I think I'm actually going to play the Venom on Sunday for the first time ever. But I need a screen name for Black Chip. So I think I'll leave it up to you guys to choose my screen name. Assuming that you come up with something good and or funny. She's got it leveled in me. Feeling pretty good, Epic Dan. Feeling pretty damn good. This is a little bit loose, but we're in the early stages. Accumulating is worth something. Jamie Q says, do you notice a significant difference how you feel when you drink 3 to 4 liters of water per day versus 1 or 2? I so rarely drink 1 or 2 that it's difficult for me to say. I probably average somewhere between 3/4 and a full gallon a day regularly. Tell me it's not too late. But yeah, obviously being hydrated, I always tend to feel a lot better. Okay, stabbing there was a little optimistic. Probably need at least one club on the board in order to bet there. We do have a lot of Jack X in our flat range though. But whatever. In my head. Hey, 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 hey. With the Ace of Hearts, no real need to bet here. Pretty good turn. Yeah, again, I don't really see a need to bet here. Our hand's just too good. Verlin says, Berkey, what's up? I watched your 30-minute speech from 2 years ago. I have to say thank you very much for sharing that insight into your life. I applaud you, bro. Thanks, man. I saw your comment. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. It was an interesting keynote speech. It was really the first time that I had ever done any public speaking, and it was kind of a big deal. Like, not a paid gig or anything like that, but it was for the San Francisco Recovery Summit. So I was speaking to about 300 or 400 people, most of which were either recovering addicts themselves or family thereof. So it was an honor to kind of be the keynote speaker to all of that, especially since I don't actually have any experience with addiction myself. Yeah, it was a little unnerving, you know. I kind of waited till the last minute to prep, per usual. In my head. I think our hand's just gonna pure check call, check call, check call. Unblocking spades is really nice. To die from love. He just shuts it down with the old Jack 10 high. I once read. Ooh, hey, 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 hey. John Laborde says, you have the best stream. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Even though I fished for that compliment, I still appreciate it. We're going to hit the 3-bet again. A little worse hand this time. Maybe a better result, though. Don't really know what to make of this. Don't really care. It's just a pretty easy call for us. His sizing is quite small. Okay flop, not the best. We do block King Queen suited, which is very important. Ace Queen doesn't really check back. I think we can bet quarter pot here and just be all in on most rivers. You really shouldn't have a ton of spade combos in range. Really just ace king exactly. Should have a lot of no pairs here. Oh my god! What? Oh my god, here we are trying to play good sound poker, figuring out the combos, yada yada yada, and we got 4-bet by the 8-6 off. Wow, what a joke. Why won't it let me type in numbers? Well, we're just going to obviously 3-bet him to death. Never cared too much for me, girl. I think we just quarter pot here. Very clear check back on the turn. Clean run out. Oh yeah, we got him. We got this fucking guy right where we want him, buddy. I gotta tell you. Hope LEP is not gonna make it to the finals. Oh man, I adore people who play street poker like this. I really do. It just absolutely warms my heart, as I can relate to it. Singing the blues. Paul Barker says, layout and content both are the nuts on stream and off. Thank you, man. James says, what is your preferred tournament structure? Do you prefer full ring, reload, freeze out, what stack depth? I don't really care. I don't love tournaments enough to give a shit about the structure. Because it all breaks down to the same thing, right? Like, at some point, you're going to have to navigate 10 to 20 big blind poker. Oh my god! Yes! Yes! Oh, I love this guy. Who is he? I need to know. I need to know who this guy is. What a beaut. Oh, God bless. Leroy's Revenge. I like that. Alpha Rec. I don't want to do anything that would insinuate it's me. Like, I want people to never know that. Well, I mean, obviously, if I win the Venom, people will know it's me. But like, I don't want to. I want to be basically as anonymous as possible, outside of the 500 of you watching. Zebra Deborah's caught on to our little antics of targeting the whale. We're getting too good of a price here, I think, with a suited jack. So we're going to peel. At sub 1 SPR, I actually think we just play raise here. Oh man, she bets so small though. Yeah, whatever. We're just going with our hand. We don't really have a hand strong enough to bluff catch multiple streets. And there's nothing stating that she'll actually bluff multiple streets. If we had a hand like Queen Jack, I would just call. Obviously, having the over is pretty nice. Patrick Clay says, I like the layout, not so much the live chat on screen, because you see it here in chat and then again on there. Well, it's not live on the actual screen you're watching. It's a 5-minute delay, and not everybody's in chat. So there's a lot of people who are just watching, reading the chat in what they feel like is real time. We're going to create some fun dynamics here because it's going to be incredibly abundantly clear to everyone. That's redundant, incredibly abundantly. It's going to become abundantly clear to everybody at the table that when Hope LEP puts money in the pot, I'm either going to be 3-betting or folding. And I'll probably be doing more 3-betting than folding, to be honest. Screen name When You Lie. I like that. Just start looking for Leroy titles. When You Lie is pretty good. Seven circles, time will tell. All right, Daniel, chill the fuck out. Wow. Wow. Big hands all around. Not the worst flop. Definitely going to continue one. I don't really think we get to start bluffing. Okay, it's kind of an annoying turn. How many starting stacks does this guy to your right have? He has 4. We have 1.5. It's worth something. All right, that's going to carry us into break. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of the new course by Finding Equilibrium that you can find on our site. If you enjoy it, you can get the first video for free by signing up to the free roll access pass at solveforwhy.io. And the remaining 3 videos will be live on our site over the course of the next month or so. So please enjoy Finding Equilibrium's introduction to the GTOx blueprint.
This video is the first of a 4-part series that will describe the features and philosophy of GTOcheck, which is a web app designed to help players of all skill levels learn fundamentally sound poker strategies through the use of solvers. Before we begin, to provide some context, let's first describe what a solver is and why any poker player that's interested in improving his play should care about this tool. Essentially, a solver is a program that can calculate strategies for any no-limit hold'em game between two players that will result in each player winning the maximum number of chips possible on average. These strategies calculated by the solver are often referred to as the Nash equilibrium strategies or game theory optimal, and there are no strategies that are more profitable than the ones that are calculated by the solver when both players are playing at their best, and this is mathematically proven. Now, you may have heard some people in the poker community argue that you don't need a solver to become a winning player, and frankly, this is true. But to draw an analogy, learning poker from a solver is like learning to box from a master technician. By absorbing knowledge which has been passed down from generations and through countless rounds in the gym, a master technician has a deep understanding of fundamentals, footwork, head movement, a strong guard, and a stiff jab. These are the essential tools that all boxers must know in order to fight effectively against any type of opponent. Most of the best boxers in the world are technicians. They are very difficult to hit, and they systematically break down their opponents round by round. Of course, there are other types of boxers that you can learn from as well, such as a brawler or slugger. A brawler uses sheer aggression and an unrelenting assault to pummel his opponent. This style, when applied the right way, can be extremely effective as well. One of the advantages a brawler has over a technical boxer is that the brawler is more likely to knock out his opponent, especially if that opponent is weak. For example, if you took a technical boxer and a brawler to a bar and both got into a fight with some random frat boys, the brawler would likely make much quicker work of your average bloke who doesn't even know how to throw a punch. Similar to a brawler, a poker player that uses purely intuition or exploits is more likely to win larger pots against most wrecks and fish compared to a player that is solver based. In fact, one of the brawler's primary weapons, a haymaker, can be thought of as boxing's version of an exploit, as it is designed to inflict maximum punishment. However, although there is a higher chance you will KO your opponent with a haymaker also leaves you wide open to being countered, which is also true of an exploit. And this is one of the reasons why you will rarely see a master technician throw a bunch of haymakers. Additionally, we should note that a technical boxer can brawl and a solver-based player can exploit anytime they want, but the reverse is not true. This isn't to say that a brawler can't be a winning player or even a world champion. However, in order to reach the elite level as a brawler, you'll need to accumulate countless of hours in the gym and hundreds of amateur fights. Similarly, you can become a winning player and reach the highest levels in poker without a solver as well, but in almost every instance, you'll need to put in years of work and play millions of hands to reach that level. One of the most winningest players of all time, Daniel Negreanu, essentially made this point in one of his old World Series blogs. I don't recall the exact episode, but this was when he was first attempting to win the World Series of Poker Player of the Year award and was entering a number of low buy-in mass field tournaments. Basically, he said something to the effect that one of the primary reasons why he had such a large edge on the field in general was simply because he had seen millions of more hands than nearly every single opponent he would be facing. And this statement is instructive. It would be very difficult, if not impossible, for someone who is just starting out to ever catch up to a Daniel Negreanu or even any other established pro by trying to learn the game intuitively through trial and error. The experience gap is just too wide. Yes, you could hire a coach with more experience to speed up your learning, but there's an inherent flaw that exists when attempting to transfer knowledge which is rooted in intuition. By definition.
All right, that's the GTOx blueprint brought to you by Finding Equilibrium. He's the best for what it's worth. Our man Hope got cooled off there with 9s versus 4s. Drew is the benefactor. Lucky man. Oh no, they're taking all of his chips! Club! No! Everybody's getting a crack before me. Oh, he still has piles. He still has piles. Someone who can haunt your dreams. If you guys liked what you saw with the GTO check video, you can again watch that video at solveforwhy.io. You can get the entire series if you sign up for Solve for Why TV. Right now we're running a half off special. Just utilize the code halfoffjuly. We also have an affiliate code for GTO check. Just use hashtag GTOx and you'll get the link for that. Oh man. Young Landon just polishes him off. Does all the dirty work. I will say, man, Hope is getting cooled the fuck off. King 6. Give the man life. I hope he re-enters. Be so sad if he didn't. I bet he doesn't, though. I would bet he doesn't. Yep, that's all she wrote for Hope. GG, man. It was a pleasure. I wish you hadn't scattered my chips about to all the good players at the table, but what are you gonna do? You know, what are you gonna do? I wonder if Landon did this on purpose or if that's a misclick. Walking around in your shadows. I just want to see you smile. Oh man, here we go again. I can't have this conversation again. Cliff Victoria says, Berkey, I know you disagree with my tightening up at the end strategy, but consider what's better. All in for GTO or staying alive and doubling up once or twice when you hit hands? Give up a bit of GTO, question mark, to stay alive. It's hard to win all / most of the all-ins. I don't know how to... I don't know how to make that intelligible. What you're saying is contradictory. If it's hard to win all-ins, then you can't wait to win all-ins. Because you're always at risk, because you're always covered, and you're never a large favorite. It's very important to just have more chips than the person you're all in against. That's it. That's tournaments in a nutshell. Just have more chips than the person that you're all in against, and let your equity run its course. But there is absolutely no strategy on earth regarding tournament poker that claims it's better to be patient and wait than it is to try to accumulate. None. Outside of like bubble play when you're a medium stack and you're handcuffed to ICM, there's literally almost no situations where risk isn't encouraged. I don't know how to make that any more clear, Cliff, outside of, just finger pointing and saying, look at my results. And I'm not trying to be a dick about it. I'm just saying, like, this isn't even a debate. The idea that somehow you can stave off variance by just not playing hands is a ludicrous one. The blinds will just eat you up. The blinds become the variance. Don't you understand? Like, the blinds increasing and the antes being very large are what make tournaments such high variance, not the actual hands. The reason you have to play so many hands is due to that fact, right? Due to the fact that the blinds go up and the antes are large and you're constantly basically giving money away for free. Cash games, yes, you can be patient. You can wait for spots because there's nothing pushing the action. You're not investing money ever.
No real reason to bet here. Hey! Lost the minimum. Let's go. Don't matter where I go, it's my home. Niners. Well, I lie, yes, the most every night. Oh, pride ego. Okay, man. This is a call. That's a good flop. Not the best flop, but a good flop. He should be betting infrequently and small when he does. Okay, that aligns. I think we can start to protect our hand a little bit. A jack can't really raise. Hello, quads. He should have a lot of value bets here. So I am going... does he, though? Maybe not. I think this is between a block and a jam. Those are really our only two choices. Does a jack ever fold if we jam? Probably. Does he ever have a flush when he checks back flop? Probably not. All right, I'm leaning block. Try to get value from a king. Try to get him to jam worse. Let's see if he would have called. He probably has aces. Ah, he had jack 10. No club. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what he does with that hand. He should fold. Having the 10 blocker is nice, but he probably should fold. Maybe when we're between a block and a jam, the best thing to do is just bet like 66%. Got you a boyfriend, treats you fine. And I heard those nasty things you said about me to a friend of mine. I hear this. Come on, cats, squeeze. James says, how is Sulphur White looking to evolve going forward? Will your weekly podcast be returning in the near future? They will. They'll probably be a different format, though. I think we just bet small here. We could check. We can check a lot here, actually. But then it becomes a matter of, do we check to check raise? I think we just bet small. I think if we check, we have to check raise. And that's a little bit fishy. We also just Probably let Landon realize a lot of equity for free. Oh, Landon. You've really gotten yourself in a pickle this time, big guy. We got it. This is indicative of a queen. Obviously, we just call quite frequently. He'll have kickers that intertwine with this texture a lot, as well as like backdoor hearts, backdoor spades. We really don't have to worry about clubs at all. Queen 5 is maybe a low frequency, like Queen 5 of hearts, Queen 5 of spades. Probably not much Ace 4 or 4-7, so we don't really have to sweat that. He does follow through on the turn, which is now more polarizing, implying that he has like 2 pair plus. We just have a call. Deuce is a little bit brutal. Obviously, we are devoid of 4s. But we're pretty close to top of range. Best holding obviously being queens, 6s, and 3s. We have Ace 4 of hearts, spades, and clubs at a very low frequency. Yeah, I mean, I think we just kind of have to pay this off. He has a lot of 5-7, 7-8 that takes this line as his bluffs, I think. Yeah, I just think we pay. That makes sense. That's his only 2-pair combo on the turn. So he's only going to be bluffing with 3x whenever it comes to the check raise. A little surprised that he chose the offsuit combo. I would think that he would be leaning pretty heavily on 3-5 of hearts and clubs. This is a 1 blind spot. Yeah, our weakest kings just check back here, I think. That's nice. We beat all King X now. Got by the young man. Could have 3-bet flop, but he's just going to kind of barrel that off. Cliff says, I get what you're saying, Berkey, but you go so far in tournaments and then you bust out with your marginal all-ins. I think you're a great player and could win more if you didn't risk everything so often. Just to be clear, we have 7 cashes this series, and 6 of them are final tables, 5 of which are top 3. So I'm not sure what results you expect to have that are better than that, but I'm running like God to even have results that clear. It's impossible to expect 90% of your caches to be top 3s.
That's just literally not a thing. So I'm not sure what you're scrutinizing. We haven't bubbled any events. We've only min cashed 2 events the entire series. Everything else has literally been a final table. I really don't think you get what I'm saying. I think that's the problem. And I'm not saying this with malice. I'm really trying to make you or help you understand. I just think like we have a real big gap in communication because you're leaning on results as like what you're pointing to for me to improve on, but my results literally can't get any better to the point where like I'm acknowledging that my results are more a byproduct of luck than my ability. And it's not even remotely close at this point. Man, 40 blinds with all this action, we might just be all in. We might just be all in. Yeah, I think we're just ripping it here. I don't really think we can play our hand differently. Jordan Hollis says, I love the way Berkey plays, but I agree he gets it in marginally too often late, 3 hours into play, but you have to remain aggressive until 6-handed. Again, not really sure what you're pointing to. We don't have like any late bust outs. Like we haven't even come close to bubbling anything. Oh man. How many tournaments has Berkey won? No offense compared to Helmuth's tight strategy. I mean, Helmuth has been playing for 20 years longer than me. And he's probably played 1,000 times more tournaments than me. And that probably could include online, to be honest. I just think that like it's a silly discussion to sort of like distill tournament poker down to something so simple as tight is right. Like you could just win tournaments if you just play tight. That's such a spit in the face to tournament strategy and how insanely complex it is. Like we could talk for 20 minutes about Landon's choice to check raise 3-5 offsuit there on the Queen 6-3 board Rainbow, and why it has a ton of merit and why it's absolutely necessary to incorporate into your game in order to have a legitimate chance at winning a bracelet. But you just never have that conversation if you stop at tight is right, which is like insane. If it were as simple as playing tight, don't you think everybody would just do that and win all the tournaments? I just don't fathom where this belief comes from other than risk aversion. XTerp says, where's the best place for somebody to start after signing up for Solve4Why content-wise? Definitely check out the abridged version of the primer that Matt Hunt did. Check out Matt Hunt's webinar on how EV works. And I would also highly recommend the new Finding Equilibrium video series. I think it addresses first principles of game theory incredibly well. And will give you a good idea of how you should be thinking about the game moving forward. You guys that are saying chip dump to Landon are idiots. Number one, the tournament structure is way too fast for chip dumping to even matter. Number two, my hand is an absolute fucking call. Like, probably pure calls. I doubt it even mixes. What's the swap between Landon and I? 0. Berkey, have you checked out Pokerface Ash on YouTube? Yeah, she's been a long-time community member of Solve for Why. She's the best. Bro, why didn't you raise him on the flop? Any particular reason? Yeah, he had 12% equity, and I was going to let him bluff it all off to me. Unfortunately, he completed his 12%. Guys, stop trying to control the uncontrollable. That's not how poker works. Cliff says, if somebody's going all in, I assume they've better than top pair. Maybe I get bluffed occasionally. More than occasionally. Absolutely more than occasionally. DJ Deadstroke says, what is the all-in access pass? That's access to all of our training material. So there is everything from courses to Poker Out Loud to On Second Thought, which is the sister show to Poker Out Loud. Basically, we choose a handful of hands from the season of Poker Out Loud. We compare the in-game thoughts of the players playing the hand to the solver strategy and what would happen at equilibrium. And we basically just dissect it that way for the viewer to kind of have the vantage point of what the overarching strategy should be and how close we were to it in real time or how far away we were. GME Ape is correct. He says when you get a huge hands like kings, you want to maximize your chips. Raising the flop if he has queen jacks or bluffs isn't how you maximize chip EV. You are correct. You just let them play perfectly versus you. When they get it in, they have a set. When they fold, all you did was fold out a hand that had almost no equity. You guys know that Landon and I are not in the same place, right? I'm at the office, he's at my house. So this idea that like he check raised me and then told me his hand and I was like, cool, I'm gonna give you all the chips, is a very silly one. No, I agree, David. I know Cliff means well, and I'm trying to articulate it in a way that isn't demeaning to his questions. It rubs me the wrong way. Sorry, rubs me the wrong way isn't the right word. It frustrates me when players are at the point in their learning where they're trying to make the game so simple that it distills down to just a do this and you'll win type of tactic, because you've already lost the ability to critically think when that's the case. And from my vantage point as an instructor, that becomes really hard to work with because I can't train that mindset out of you, right? I can't make you stop being risk averse if you have it drilled into your head that tight is right and that's all it takes for you to win. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm not angry at I'm not angry at Cliff's proposal, and I'm not really frustrated at him personally. I'm just frustrated at that notion that poker's that easy, and that in some way, shape, or form, we're missing the boat by making it complex. Yeah, Cliff, I'm not taking it as you insulting me. It is a little insulting to think that you can tell me something I don't know, but that could just be ego on my behalf, to be quite frank. I think one of the big problems is that you guys just aren't really access to seeing the same amount of critically solved data that I am. So it's like, there are a lot of situations where it's like, just trust me that this is correct. Like those kings are just never a fold as played. But I'm asking you to trust that because I can't show you that, right? Like I can't just pull up the solve mid-game and show you that kings are a pure call there. And even if I could, most people will find reasons to say that the solve is incorrect and yada, yada, yada. Which, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of situations where that's true, and you can't just abide by solver or equilibrium-based strategy. But when I'm playing against Landon, who's playing as close to equilibrium as he possibly can, I certainly need to respond in a game theoretically correct manner. Speaking of, this is going to be pretty much a pure call. That's a really good flop for us. We're going to play check raise here, given our stack depth and how hard this board hits the small blind defending range. Now I think we get to start polarizing our hand a little bit. We should have a fair amount of fold equity here. Matt, have you thought about playing Helmuth in the heads-up duel? Helmuth doesn't want anything to do with playing good people. And it's not my specialty anyway. At this point, he has 7x the experience that I do in playing heads-up sit-and-goes. So it's not exactly something I would be super skilled at. I would obviously love the opportunity. I think that it's a very profitable one. Fold. Get on back again. Mate Nessick says, when you're running poor, how do you feel? Is it the saddest thing? I always feel sad when this is happening. There are definitely times where negative variance will impact me emotionally and pretty hard, but it's usually indicative of something else in my life that's like impacting me negatively. So, you know, whether it's like, for example, a breakup or a fight with a friend or something like that, something that's weighing on me emotionally already, that already has my mind deviating into an emotional place. Now negative variance in play will absolutely compound that and make me feel not depressed, but sad, very sad for sure. I've noticed that the easiest way to climb out of that is to increase productivity. So just putting a huge emphasis on the things that I can control
be it my physical health, my mental health, being more social, whatever the case may be. Basically, taking a break from being career focused and instead being like very mindful of the day-to-day way I'm treating myself, I guess. What up, Mama Tice? How you doing? Yeah, GME Ape is correct. To make 6 figures in this game, you must slave over the study. For sure. For fuck's sakes, Berkey, if tight was not right, then it would not rhyme. I can't argue with that, man. That is some goddamn sound logic. When you're right, you're right. I surrender this argument. I actually really appreciated that discussion because it's distracting me from the fact that we're running like dog shit in this event. We got stacked by 8-6 off. Our homie got us with fucking 5-3 off. Just out there in the streets doing dirty, dirty things to us. Hey man, what's so wrong with my life? Tattoos by Hugh said, we're all here because we want to learn and watch you win a bracelet. Thank you for explaining your thought process. I'm happy to, man, and I appreciate you guys being open to these discussions. For what it's worth, like, I'm passionate about this because, you know, so much of what I'm doing now is putting myself in the position to teach, and it becomes incredibly important that certain misnomers about the game kind of have holes poked through them. Oh, man. It's so funny how this game can work, right? Like, we flop quads versus a dusty-ass hand, and we make some chips, but not a ton. We have an overpair versus a dusty-ass hand, we get stacked. We play a 4-bet pot with a hand that has the other hand completely dominated, we get stacked. And it's easy to like look at that whole framework and just say, God, I'm so unlucky. But it's like, it's way luckier to hit the quads just from a sheer percentage standpoint than all of that other bad luck compounded together. But the results are really what dictate how we feel emotionally about how things are going, right? The quads didn't yield that much return, whereas like the quote unquote unlucky spots cost us buy-ins. And it's really easy to put a big emphasis on the dollar amount lost rather than the actual variance that we're suffering. Tattoos by Hugh said, to me as the rec player during the king's hand when Landon, he said 3-bet the flop, but he meant check raise the flop. I honestly put him on queen 6 because he was in the big blind. Well, you have to understand, Landon's not calling queen 6 off. That hand doesn't defend, especially multi-way. So he only has the combinations of queen 6 suited, which is only 2. And we still have equity against that hand. So we can just hit a 3 to counterfeit him or turn a king to break him. So it's not like we just get the fold. But you are correct in the sense that he does have 2 combinations of queen 6, which is why we don't 3-bet the flop.
We don't want him to just fold 5-3 and get it in with queen 6, right? That would be silly. James says, did you like Landon's check raise on the flop with 3-5 off? Is that just a low frequency play based on range advantage? So yes, you will check raise your 3x at like low frequencies. I am not confident the hand he chose was good. I'm not even so sure he's that confident. I would imagine if that hand check raises, it's like sub 5%. So we just get a little bit unlucky that he rolled high in a spot where he may have a hand that pure calls. And he just kind of got it wrong, but drilled us. Either way, we were going to lose chips. Like, he's not folding his hand for sure, and the turn's always going to come a 5. So there's that. But we lost stacks because he went the aggressive route. Malakaboo says, hello, aces? That's a welcome sight. Nice under the gun raise, too. Hello. He says, I've made a few final tables in some large tournaments. In my opinion, you have to be very aggressive to close out, especially when you get to 4 or less. Just to give you guys an idea of something that's really stuck with me that was said in a jokey manner, but is very true. I was playing pickleball with Dan Smith one day, and we were talking about playing some sort of weird structured event. I think this is one awkward spot where cold calling aces is just fine because the SPR is so low. Jamming kind of sucks, and we want to give Zebra Deborah a chance to get it in there. SPR is going to be, if she calls, SPR is going to be like 1.5. So we're just always going to get it in post anyway. But anyway, I can't remember the format of what we were talking about. But whatever it was like some sort of tournament format where like folding seemed to be a little bit more incentivized based on either the structure or I don't remember what it was. And I just made a comment about like, yeah, I don't know. I don't like the format because it seems like it wants you to, got him. It seems like it encourages people to like fold their way through the event. And he just looked me deadpan in the face and he said, the only way that you can lose money playing tournament poker is by folding. And he was kind of saying it in jest, but he's absolutely right. Like, the tight players are the ones that are donating to the prize pool. It's why they're the whales. It's why they never win. You just, ROIs are so small in MTTs to begin with that you just really can't afford to not finish in the top 3. All the money's up top, right? So it becomes insanely critical to take on risk when you're outside of that top 3 bubble. And to take it on in as much of a volatile fashion as you possibly can. Nice little double for us there. The cold call panned out. Though I think that Deborah probably always gets it in. Blame it on my mental health. Shout out to everybody watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It does wonders for the channel. We would greatly appreciate all the help we can get. I appreciate you guys showing up day in, day out. It's been kind of crazy, man. We've been averaging like 800 to 1,000 viewers almost every single stream, which is, it warms my heart, you know? It really does, it makes me feel like you guys give a shit.
Thank you, lucky guy. I appreciate that. Oh, I didn't even see Dan Zach sneak his way in here. The Pepper Prince. Tenzin K says, do you ever bluff or no? I bluffed off my first buy-in, man. You didn't see it with the King Jack suited? Pretty bad flop for us three ways. John Dorsey says, how many places pay and what bracelet bets do you have? I don't have any bracelet bets, and you can see the payout structure in the lower left-hand corner of the stream. How would Stu Unger do in today's online game? He would be a non-factor. The game is not the same as it was when Stu Unger was great. The game is very analytical now. It's very data-driven. The people who do the best in the online format are people who could have been actuaries or people who have engineering backgrounds or programming backgrounds, whatever. Like, it's not the way it was when Stu Unger was good, where it was much more of a psychological warfare. John Sellers says, is Landon streaming at home? No, he's just one tabling. We got to work on his streaming personality. He's a little bit, a little shy, a little on the quiet side. Okay, not a great flop for us in a three-way spot out of position. We're going to start with a check on monotone boards almost always. It's a good bet by Lou. We obviously have a ton of equity here to continue. Not a great turn. A lot of his bluffs will start to fill. Yeah. Well, now we're dead. Yeah, now we're dead. He would have started by betting a lot of Queen 10, Jack 10 on flop, with or without a club. So we are definitely done. You'll see some King Jack in here. So the offsuit hands will be like King Jack, Ace Jack off. Oh yeah, that's brutal. That's an unfortunate one to lose to. I don't think that hand should bet. That hand definitely shouldn't bet. Especially with Gags being so short there, with like 1.5 SPR. You can't just bet all of your... You can't bet every combination of hands that possesses a club, because you'll also have hands that don't possess a club that need to bet. Like, if he has Jack 10 of... I don't remember what our suits were. If he has, like, Jack 10 of diamonds, he's going to want to start betting there. You're going to want to have bluffs on the 4 flush. So, like, yeah, Jack 10, 9, 10 are going to want to start betting those flops. That would be a hand that he would want to bet if he was the original raiser. So threes with a club oftentimes will reach for like pairs to be our lowest EV hands that we can potentially bluff off with, barrel off with.
What up, Mark Rumbaugh? How are you doing, man? This is my dog Kevin says hi. Hello, Kevin. Woof woof.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Tokoki. So the problem is in most live tournaments, you'll see somebody tight go deep. So it makes it appear like it's a valid tactic, but it's always somebody different that's going that deep that plays tightly. And yeah, you're right. You also never see that person win. I don't know of too many nits that we celebrate outside of Helmuth.
PLO Coaster says, how is there $412 in the prize pool with only 632 entrants? Because there are 285 re-entrants. Ourselves included. All right, I am going to give you a little bit more of GTO check. Enjoy.
Definition, intuition is not derived from conscious reasoning, and so it's not easily transmitted from teacher to student. Your coach cannot simply download to you all of the nuanced and complicated knowledge he has acquired over the years from grinding, because it's unlikely that he is even fully conscious of how his brain processes decisions. This makes it very difficult to reach a high level of play using a purely intuitive-based style without putting in millions of hands of work yourself. One of the reasons why poker is so hard to learn intuitively is because of the disconnect that exists between optimal strategies and optimal outcomes. To use an extreme example, if a beginner shoves at 7 deuce off and wins a huge pot, that beginner may be fooled into believing that his play was profitable. Of course, any experienced player would know that this is a losing play in the long run, but that knowledge is acquired over time and across many trials. And this is one of the primary reasons why solvers can be such invaluable tools. Solvers can partially substitute for this experience and accelerate our learning of the game because, in essence, they do the grinding for us, simulating games billions of times over, attempting every single line over many iterations, and ultimately identifying the actions that, in a vacuum, will win the most and lose the most chips over the long run. And since the solver's outputs are produced in the form of quantifiable data, they are conducive to objective and systematic review and analysis, whereas sometimes when learning complex subjects from humans, things tend to get lost in translation. And this now brings us back to GTO Check. GTO Check has 4 primary components, which are designed to help people learn poker theory on an accelerated basis. The GTO Check Solver, the GTO Check Blueprint, GTO Check Reports, and GTO Check Solutions. And in this introduction video, we'll be providing an overview of the general use and applicability of each. The GTO Check Solver is a web app where users can upload a hand history of most of the well-known online card rooms and calculate the GTO strategies for most players based on the details of the hand. This allows users to compare how their play may have differed from the GTO strategy, identify weaknesses that they may have in their game, and develop an understanding of how optimal strategies are constructed. To use the solver, the first thing we're going to do is click on this cloud tab, which takes us to the screen where we can upload our hand histories. And on the right here, we see the rooms and games that are currently supported by GTO Check, which we plan to continuously expand. The easiest way to upload a hand is by copying the hand history from a HUD. I've made several videos showing how exactly to do this with Poker Tracker, Hold'em Manager, and Hand to Note, which I'll link in the description below. So let's take a look at an example using Hold'em Manager. To get the hand history, all we have to do is right-click the hand we want to analyze and click Copy. Then we just right-click and paste it into this text box in GTOcheck and click Parse Hand. And when these green checks appear next to the parser and analyzer, it means the app has parsed the hand history and created a game tree based on the specific pre-flop and post-flop action taken in this game. If there's an error, it means that there is either something wrong with the hand history format or it is an unsupported game. Then when we click Next, it takes us to a screen which shows the default pre-flop ranges selected by GTOcheck to most closely match the game and action from the hand history. The GTOcheck solver only solves the post-flop action, so we need to input the assumed pre-flop ranges of both players for the solver to calculate against. And so we've created a library of pre-calculated pre-flop solutions that can serve as a starting point for most common scenarios you'll encounter. And if you want, you can modify the default pre-flop ranges any way you like. So in this case, we see that the action from the default solution was the low jack opening to 2.25 big blinds, whereas in the actual hand, the low jack opened to 2.2 big blinds. So you could alter both ranges to expand them a bit to take into account the smaller sizing actually used compared to default pre-flop ranges. So let's say I want to change some of these hands that are borderline opens to pure raises. I just type in 100 here and then click on the combos I want to change. And if I make a mistake and want to revert back to the default range, I just need to click this back button. And if I want to custom create the ranges from scratch, I can press this button, which removes all combos, or this button, which adds all combos.
All right, once again, that is the GTO check blueprint, video 1. You can watch that in its entirety at solveforwhy.io. Sign up for the free roll access pass. If you like what you see and you want to see the remaining 3 videos, you can find those behind the paywall. Just use half off July as the sign-up code. We'll be defending here versus the Young Prince. Well, that's bad. That's a good hand. Luke B says, I thought you had a bracelet bet regarding you and Foxen. Yeah, you're correct. It's not between me and Foxen. It's actually between... Oh, can we ever flat here and get Deborah to rip? Nah, I don't think so. Late reg is over. I think we just 3-bet our hand. It's actually between me and Ryan Reese, where he has Foxen for 20K. We made it in 2017. This is the last year that we have to complete it. That's really valid, Dennis. And a worthy point of of noting. He says, easy to say be aggressive when you're Berkey, knowing when, how, and why to be aggressive. Maybe more than the 67-year young whale will ever be able to master in his tournament format. Yeah, that's very, very valid. Completely acknowledge what you're saying. I guess my pushback was simply the notion that somehow I'm doing it wrong by being aggressive. We're going to play raise here. Well, that's unfortunate. We just have a fold now. That's a big jam. Dan shouldn't be playing a ton of shoves there. Maybe like ace-king. Ace-king probably jams pure. Maybe some like queen-jack, tens, jacks, nines. Maybe some suited wheels for balance. Decent flop for us versus big blind. We can just start with a small bet here. We'll have big bets on boards like this. Generally, it'll be hands that we want to protect, like ace-10. We just check this card back, obviously. Good river. This water I think we can get pretty thin for value here. Something like 3/4 pot. This is the reason why we get the size up is because this is a card we're going to bluff a lot with our queen jack, king jack, small pairs. We obviously have an easy fold to a jam since he can just have ace-4, ace-6, ace-9, ace-10. Put him in a really tough spot with a 10. Not that tough of a spot, I guess. What are the bluffs? I don't have a lot of time bank, so let's think of what the bluffs are. Should mostly contain a 7 or an 8. So we're looking at 8-9, 10-8, 10-7, hands that can't call. Why would a strong hand ever check river? Whatever, we'll let him get away with this one. If I had more time bank, I may have arrived at a call there. Just because a lot of the hands that turn themselves into bluffs have showdown value, so they start by checking. And then whenever they face a big bet that they can't call, they ultimately respond by just being all in. Yeah, that fold's probably pretty close. Judgment Day.
Anyway. All right, good luck us. We should have gags dominated here a fair amount, though he'll have overcards sometimes. Queen Jack, King Jack, Ace Jack type of hands. Oh baby. I mean, we just still have a rejam here versus Landon. He's calling range, so kind of unfortunate for us at that point. I guess if Dan gets involved, oh my God. What the fuck? Oh, we don't have any time bank. I mean, this just becomes a fold, I suppose. Woo! Oh no! No, the heartbreak. Oh, why do they do it? And gags doubles through. Oh, I'm devastated. God, that's so brutal. Oh man, what an annoying spot. Landon thinks the 10s are a call. I think that there's no shot.
No heart, no stab. I think that's a pretty reasonable way to approach this. All you want. Man, why don't we just play bad? Just get in with the 10s. Triple up. Gags hits the showers. Get a tough player out of here. Definitely a tough table. Luckily, we have position on them all, but we have all in Drew, Gags, Landon, Madsen, Dan Zach, Shannon Short on my left, and then Pride Eagle Balls and Dabaloo are both 5'10 regs. Shit is real. Shit is real. Hurricane Express. Oh yeah. My soul for the city, for the floor. Since I smiled, Yay, Jamie. Jamie says, I did the Software Academy a couple years ago. It was a great experience. I might have to do it again as a refresher. We got a seat for you, man. August 27th to the 29th is the next academy. I think we still have 2 seats left. Man, I'd like to know what Drew had when he check raised me on that river. My heart really tells me it was a hand like 10-8, 10-7, something of that nature, where he was checking his showdown value, and then when I bet, he realized he couldn't call. I had a pretty good calling candidate. I think the hands that you want to bet fold are like ace-7, ace-8 because they block his bluffs. Everybody gets old. If you see my love, will you tell her that I miss her? Well, I'm probably asleep, just dreaming of her by my side. Suited hands will defend. What am I doing? Not the flop we were looking for. This will just be a fold. This is the point in the tournament where the structure kind of deteriorates a little bit. It's the point where we got to put in a little bit extra work. Start rejamming our way to victory. And I'm getting back to you. Unlucky for Dan Zach there. Pure fold. It's kind of an interesting line there by Dan. This hand will play as a pure fold, especially at a tough table. Can't really do anything. Too weak to shove, too weak to open. At a softer table, I would limp it. But with these guys on my left, I don't really think it's great. Once I'm done with me. I was born upon this lonesome county line. 100 years ago it seems. Everything just keeps burning down the line. It's hard and harder to believe. Yeah, it's hard and harder to believe. It don't get easier. It don't get easier. One of these days, guys, we're gonna get on some fucking chips in a bracelet event. One of these days. Hopefully it's today. We're not dead yet. We are not dead yet. It's a fold. Theoretically, I should just be like tanking all my decisions at this point, and from this point on, really. I just don't have it in me, man. But especially at this table, like nobody's giving chips away at this table. Everybody's an excellent player. So the last thing you want to do is play more hands. If anything, you want to set the pace so that this table plays the fewest number of hands of all the tables in the event. But I think that, you know, you could do it as long as it's not egregious. It's just kind of a little bit against the spirit of the game, but it is a reasonable way to counteract a very poor table draw. It don't get easier, it don't get easier. That's it for Drew. GG, my friend. If you bluffed me, let me know. If not, I don't care. Bet on Drew. What a good name. If you're feeling run now. If there's hearts in me, So wait, Nick Wright put out an explanation video of whether or not he is going to play Helmuth again in round 2. Somebody want to give me the cliffs so I don't have to watch 2 minutes of it on stream? Did he say yes or no? You're feeling. I'm guessing he said no. Yeah, see, Madsen's got it figured out. You're just supposed to bank. And bank. And bank. Shane Skeen says, Berkey, academy or homeschool? We're doing an academy at the end of August, August 27th to the 29th. And we are very likely to do an MTT homeschool throughout September. We need heat. Send us heat. Boomer says, hey Berkey, if you haven't already, you should give Leroy Towns a listen. I think you'd like them. Yeah, they're alright. Rumor has it. Anyone know if you could play WSOP online from Prim Valley, a casino on the California-Nevada state line? I went to Laughlin once and couldn't play on WSOP because the geolocator was picking up Arizona. Yeah, I would just suggest testing it first. But I imagine that's probably fine as long as you're far enough away. I think you need to be like 4 miles. It was raining. Ay, ay, ay. Where's our heat? We need the heat. The good news about tournament poker is all that matters is you run good at the right time. So we could just run like ass this whole time, and then when it matters, just spin, you know? And I'm trying to let go. So hard.
but I can't see the looking. She was just a kid. Don't you know that I'm living? They're gonna trim Dan's outs. He dead. We would have won that one. Find a win with the 9-3 of hearts. It's so hard. You're living with gold. Need that 10 blind heat. We're just chilling. Tight is right, guys. We are just hanging and banging, man. Living with ghosts. All right, we're all in. Good luck, us. Let's go, team. Just kidding. Thought better of it. Thought better of it. We do have to limp our hand, though. It's too strong to just fold. I think queen 6 is like the border. Probably jam. I don't know. We definitely jam queen 8, I think. I don't know about queen 7, queen 6. Queen 7 is like the quote-unquote average hand. The computer hand, if you will. So we're probably shoving about half our hands there. I don't know, though. Maybe not. I guess we're doing a lot of trapping. We're limping a lot of like 9s plus. Mark says, will MTT Homeschool have any live/online play? We haven't discussed yet. It's possible we could set up a weekend MTT. It would really be more of a matter of what will we then do with that gameplay. Like, is it just gameplay for the sake of gameplay so that you guys can test some spots? Or, like, would the preference really be gameplay in order to have us dissect it throughout the weeks? My instinct is that we won't have enough time to do the latter. I suppose we could maybe pull some spots here and there and run them, but this is a fold, sadly. I just played a 400 big blind pot in cash with a pair and a gut shot flush draw. And we ran it 3 times, and the same cards came off all 3 times. So it was Queen 10, Queen 10 9, 2 spades. This is the fold. The turn and river of the first run out was Queen 9. The second run out was Queen 9. And the third run out was wait, I'm getting it wrong. The first run out was Queen X, no spade. The second run out was 9X, no spade. And then the third run out was Queen 9, no spade. I was against aces, and aces held. All 3 times, painfully enough. Man, they taken our shoves away. Ten blinds and a dream. 6s are gonna do it. Good luck us, Godspeed. Let's go. All right. 6. 6. Come on, baby. 6. No. Nope. Not today, guys. Not today. Nothing went well. There's not a lot we can say, man. Nothing went well. Que sera, sera. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. I don't know what to say, man. It's a fun event. We had a really, really fucking tough table draw after our good friend got busted. Nothing went well. We had an opportunity to maybe make some chips if we bet called that ace queen river. I'm not sure. I don't know that we were getting bluffed there for sure. Kind of felt like it, but who knows? Tough to say. Really difficult spot. And then obviously the 10s we would have tripled up, but it's for sure losing money if we call there. You got to win your all-ins. You know, there's no getting around it. You just have to ship an all-in. We were all in and covered 3 times. We lost with King Jack suited versus 6-8 off in a 4-bet pot to bust. We lost with Kings versus 5-3 off to bust. And we lost with 6s versus aces to bust. So we had good hands twice. Actually, we had good hands all the time. Because you know why, guys? You know why we had good fucking hands? Tell them. Tell them why we had good hands. Tight is right. That's why we had good hands. It's because tight is right. However, it didn't get it done today. Another fizzle out in the books. I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's a 1K event. Really excited for it. Should be big. I'm estimating that we will get between 300 and 500 people. That will be at least $500,000 in the prize pool. May see closer to $1 million. I'm not really sure what to expect, but I do think it's going to be big as it's the next to last bracelet event. So tune in tomorrow live, 5 p.m. as always. Looking forward to getting after it once again. If you liked any of the videos I was showing you on break, or just want to check out more of what we have to do, head over to solveforwhy.io. Use the sign-up code half-off-July, and show us a little bit of love. Until tomorrow, I'll see you guys all later.